Forever is the strangest thing. It's shorter than you think. No think.
The Holy Trinity, Bermuda, Alaskan, and Bridgewater triangles. Some say even notable deaths. The significance of 3 is undeniable. You are to bear witness to yet another event. We're invited to join your hosts, Krista, Aaron, and Brandy, as they guide you down the rabbit holes of the paranormal and unexplained, striving for answers of this world and beyond. Welcome to Blondes, Booze, and the Woo.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Blondes and Booze.
No,
And the Woo.
Robbie is not a vampire.
No. Last time I checked, at least I wasn't.
Yeah.
That's all right. We'll
Yeah.
let you stay anyway.
Yeah.
I gotta be more of a werewolf than I will be a vampire anyway. Too furry to be a vampire.
Well, let's introduce ourselves, ladies.
Yes, so I am Erin, and this is...
And Krista.
And I'm Brandy.
And then, no,
And Robbie.
there we go.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like the Brady Bunch, like we should
I
be walking
know.
around.
right?
That's funny.
We got people out in chat, and it looks like Jean says they're not getting you on this channel. So, Jean, can you tell me what channel you are on and that you are not getting it? Because I can see your comments. So if you would let us know anyway. Oh, look, Anthony, Robbie called you Crazy Blonde.
The Crazy Blondes. Yeah.
I ain't blonde, Anthony.
You sure about that?
For sure.
In his heart. In his heart.
Right. On my heart.
Maybe.
No, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And we got a pretty interesting show tonight. We have vampires tonight is the topic. And I'm going to bring them up. And so it's going to be interesting. What do you guys think?
I'm excited to hear more about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's out of my wheelhouse, but
What's
that? Do every day.
Right.
Yeah,
All
it's going to be very interesting to hear about this. It's a way of life, a culture. It's it's going to be interesting to find out these things that are myths. Because everybody's like, oh, vampires. Well, that's not the case. So
Right.
Exactly. All right. Well, I'm going to bring them up.
So I have to
Nick.
ask, ladies, real fast. Am
Yeah.
I still sounding fine because of my connection?
So far, you sound okay to me.
Okay. I'm just making sure so I don't sound like a fool while I'm talking and my mouth's frozen or something. So
You're good. You're good. You are good.
I don't want to look like
Everybody-
a dumb blonde,
Yeah. This is Nick and Tig, and we know them on a personal level. Nick is in Haunted Souls paranormal group with Brandy and myself. And then Tig, I've seen you I've met you at Nick and Nikki's parties.
Yep.
So we're not strangers.
No, not by any means.
Right.
Not by any means.
I don't know.
Right.
Speak for yourself. I don't know Nick at all.
That could be a good thing.
Yeah.
I don't claim him.
Now, come on. Everybody's got to claim somebody.
No,
Right?
yes,
Okay, I'll claim
he is
you.
a friend of
I'll
ours.
claim you.
Yes, he is a friend of ours. He's a friend of mine. I've known him for years. But yeah, they're great people. So
Yep. So the whole reason for this show tonight, around around Halloween, there was a lot of shows out there, and a lot of, honestly, the vampire community really took a bad rap on a lot of the shows that I watched.
Oh yeah, they did.
And
Yeah.
you know, like I said, we know these guys personally on a personal level, and so we brought them here tonight to kind of maybe dispel some of the myths. And you guys are more than welcome to ask your questions. Put it all in caps lock if you have a question for them. And let's just talk vampires. Like, okay, let's start in the beginning. Nick, how did you get into the vampire world? Tell us your background.
Oh, I mean, for me, it was more of a hidden lifestyle. You know, back in, with me being 48, back in, 80s, 90s, it was looked down upon, how they would put all these myths out of what vampires are and what they do and all this stuff. And backgrounds weren't really done. So it was a hidden culture for me. Wasn't until I met my wife, Nikki, that she sort of brought it out, and finding out that she was into it as well. Her and I clicked, and we're just like, well, let's just go on and do what we need to do to, bring the culture back. There's been one gentleman that has brought the culture back, and then we follow him. Tig follows him as well, as we know him as Father Sebastian. And he's basically been the backbone of vampire culture.
Okay. Real quick, there is a Facebook user out there, several, and I cannot, we cannot tell your name. It just says Facebook user. So if you want to actually let us see your name or whatever, you're going to have to either log in through Blondes and Booze Facebook page, or not Facebook page, the YouTube, or Texas Front Porch, one or the
Or
other.
StreamYard. Allow StreamYard access.
Yep, or allow the access. Exactly. So sorry to interrupt you.
You're good. So yeah, actually, when with Nikki and I, we went down to New Orleans and found Vampire Ball down there, and brought the culture and brought everything back. And Tig, him and I, and his significant other have all of us met down there and enjoyed the balls. So it's been one hell of a ride. Let's put it that way. And the ride's still going.
Right.
There's a lot of myths and spoofs out there that people don't realize, and they take all out of Hollywood, and it's nothing like that whatsoever.
Right.
So, we'll elaborate a little bit more on it.
Right. Exactly. Real quick,
Mhm.
I know everybody's wanting to know, and it's they're burning. Are you guys bloodsuckers?
No.
No. Sanguinarium, I am not.
Yeah, no. That there is one of the stereotypes that are put on us. Now, granted, there are groups out there, as they're called sanguines, that do drink blood. That is not us. We are just, it's just not what we do. I mean, Hollywood portrayed a lot of that as well. And, we don't sparkle. I'm going to get that out there right now.
I was going to ask you.
I'm fucking fabulous. I don't know what he's talking about.
But I mean, with the blood drink and all that, there's groups out there that do that, and more power to them. That's their thing, their fetish, whatnot. For us, it's not. Tig, how do you want to take that? What's your take off of that, Eric?
Well, like you said, there's an awful lot of Hollywood involved in that, and a lot of mythos around the idea that a vampire is just a blood drinker. I like to think of it more along the line of energy sharing. Like, if you had to define it for me, what my connection with vampire culture is, it's the energy sharing. It's you feel that power and that connection with all these other people, and through that you gain this sense of self, this self-confidence, as well as this connection to a larger thing than yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So sanguinarians do exist, and like Nick said, they're it's their thing as long as they're practicing it safely and consensually.
So real quick, do
Yeah.
you guys know anything about like the blood part of it? Like you said, safely. How is drinking blood safe?
Well, I know,
Oh,
like over
Lord.
in Europe, you and I, we were going to the same place.
So for me, I have a biomedical science background, so I'm focused on biology. So I have a lot of knowledge of what that entails, where that comes from, and how you can, the idea of safe practices. Now, consuming it is a different level. But Nick, do you have anything? Because I can go sciencey as hell with it.
Well, I know you can go scientific on it. I mean, we can dummy it down. I mean, I follow groups over in Europe, on with certain sanguines and all that, and they actually have donors that are willingly to give blood, and they do background checks on their donors. They will do testing for any type of disease. They will check what type they are, because certain sanguines only will drink a certain type of blood. To me, I don't think any of it's really safe. I mean, that's just my personal, unless it's my own. If I cut my finger, yeah, everybody's done it. So, but I mean, other than that, that's just not my cup of tea.
So are people like, I mean, AIDS, for example, like, are people tested?
Yep.
Like, I
Yeah.
mean, you know what I'm
That's
saying?
a big part of what I was
Yep.
talking about from the safe perspective, and what he mentioned was the testing that's involved, tests for all STIs, bloodborne pathogens, things like that. So that way they know that the blood isn't going to transmit something. But then you have to think about iron content and all the rest that affects a person's biology. So there's a lot of different things to take in. Like I said, I could bore everyone to death with the science side of it.
Okay. So Tig, how did you become involved with vampires?
Well, I've always had an interest in the occult and the paranormal. It's just been something that's existed in my life. But specifically with the vampire group that I'm in, as well as the connection, it was actually when Iris, my partner, went down to New Orleans with them, met Nicky, and some other people from the St. Louis area, and came back up. And we started to try to form and connect with all this. And I actually got, I don't think it's here, I was looking real quick for my book. I got the Black Veils from Father Sebastian. And I'm not a speed reader, but I read that thing in about 3 hours and just absorbed the ideas in it. And it connected with me on that idea of like that energy and emotional level, that it was all about self-confidence, about connection, about being your true self. And Lord, have we all been trying to do that.
Right.
So
Tig,
that's kind of where it all came from.
You have a question. Pat Murphy is asking you, how do you share energy?
Well, Pat, as far as sharing energy goes, there's a lot of different ways for it. But if you ever go into a room or you meet somebody or a group of people who just make you feel good about yourself, or make you feel like excited to be there, if you go to a sporting event, or you go to a bar, or just to hang out with a group of people, and you feel that like just comfort, that relaxation, or that excitement to be in that environment, that's the energy that I'm talking about. Is you feed off that idea of, I'm excited, you're excited, let's build this up to something bigger than ourselves. It can go beyond that, because it depends on how much you start looking at like your world around you, and how a gloomy day outside can make you feel like, oh, I don't want to fucking do this. Or you step out into a beautiful day like we had here, and I stepped outside in just a light jacket and went, oh, stress at work, everything gone. It's little things like that you bring that positive energy to a group, you share that with the group, you build from it. At the big events that we go to, everyone just starts to feel that positive connection and that interconnection with everybody, and it's what drives me to return to it every year. Just feel great. I mean, Nick might be able to elaborate more on like the ball and everything. It's always it's surreal and existential to an extent.
Yeah, I mean, going to one of the balls, especially now, there's quite a few of them around the country and then over in Europe. But we found in New Orleans that going down there's a different type of energy vibe, especially when you have mind-like people around. I mean, you walk into a ball, you walk into the House of Blues where the ball is at, and you just feel this rush of all this energy. I mean, positive energy. I mean, it just makes your adrenaline go. And that is what gives you all the endorphins. It just gives you that feel of like, I belong here. You can be yourself. I mean, everybody thinks that, being a vampire, is either it's dingy or you're dapper to the core. There's everything in between. I mean, you've got vampires that are out there that sometimes, you think, they dress nice, but they can barely afford, food on the table. But then you got these other ones that are, that are just dreary and everything. But you got that energy there that is, honestly, you've got to experience, because it's that feeling of, it's an emotional feeling and a psychological feeling. I mean, it's flowed. Actually, my wife, Nikki,
I just put up a comment from your wife. She said our energy flow is called the current.
Correct. And that's where I was leading to. So, I mean, it's that current that just keeps that flow going between all of us. I mean, even talking through video chat or even talking on the phone, talking to a fellow brother or sister, feel what type of day they're having, whether it's a good day or a bad day, just by the tone, or not even by the tone, sometimes just by what they say. And then you can start getting into,
to jump in there, it's sometimes what they don't say. You literally, you pick up on what they didn't say or how they didn't say something. You're like, hold on a minute. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you feel that connection there.
Yeah. You guys have another question from Penny Van. She says, I love steampunk. Do many of the ball attendees dress in Victorian attire?
You want to go with it first?
I can, or you can, it don't matter.
Well, I was going to start with, so the balls that we attend, they try to put forward themes that people are supposed to lean into and supposed to try to do, so that the group can build like this connection between how you go into things themed. But that doesn't mean you can't, as Nick was describing, you have people who come in like you can see that they've spent money on whatever they've done.
Yeah.
And then you have people who just come in just dressed however they can, and it's that range. But yes, there is steampunk in the balls. Like, I regularly see people wearing steampunk style outfits.
Oh yeah, they're out there. I mean, like Tig was saying, just to elaborate a little bit more, some of these outfits that people come into are full Victorian. I mean, they've seen some women that come in full Victorian gowns with, all poofed out and everything. I mean, they've spent some money on it. But I mean, when you get into the vampire culture, you go back to the Victorian era, that's where a lot of it picks up at. And I mean, to see some of these folks at the ball, it's amazing what people can do with so much and so little. And everybody comes together and not have any issues, and just have that feed off that energy, and just, it's exciting. It's something you just got to experience. It really is. It's very hard to explain if you haven't been there.
Gotcha.
So can you explain to me now you're saying that there are different types of vampires. Can you tell us how many different kinds and what the differences are?
Well, there's a bunch of them. I mean, the ones
or give us some examples.
You have emotional. It's similar like empaths. You have emotional. You have psychic vampires. You've got. Help me out, Tig. I'm drawing a blank.
Well, you have your sanguinarians. You have your emotional, empathic vampires. You have your energy vampires. You have your kind of I don't know how to describe them other than similarly with the psychic vampires, who are kind of more attuned to like the connections between the spirits and the paranormal, like Patty or somebody to that effect.
Right.
But there's probably dozens of others out there, but those are some of the big ones that I know about and I've met through our time down there.
Now, I mean, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, so you know, you're speaking about the paranormal. Does the paranormal play a big part in that culture?
It can. I mean, it depends how in tune you are. I mean, Tig and his partner Iris, they're into the paranormal, into it, and they have different ways of doing things. Like, Tig, explain something like with your experiences. I don't want to step on your toes or anything with them.
No, you're good. So the best way to describe me is I'm a skeptic at heart. I like to try to poke holes in anything that I come across, because if I can't find, the way to explain it, then obviously there's other explanations out there. But for me, with the connection, whenever I've gone down to New Orleans, I've gone on several of the ghost tours and managed to go to a lot of the different cemeteries, and the feeling you get down there is, and not just there but other places, is you feel that connection and that draw to something that's more than just your present, just where your surroundings are, and that further connects in my mind with how I feed off energy, and I share energy with other people. I feel that through everything. So if I'm strolling through, we went and saw, this is my example, we went and saw Anne Rice's mausoleum. And when we drove up and everything, and I saw it from a distance, it was like, wow, this is really beautiful. And then I put my foot on the mausoleum to look at it, look into it. And it was like, you could feel her there. You could feel she was still in the world, in the space between. So that connection.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of it, and it's beautiful.
Oh,
I mean,
it's
so just wow.
It is very beautiful, and I mean, people have really respected it and everything. I mean, they haven't done anything to, put anything bad there or anything, or mark it up or anything, but it's very respected, and as so it should be.
Yeah, gotcha. Anthony said, so if you have dentures, can you be a vampire?
So this sounds a little bit.
Well, let him answer Anthony's question real quick.
It's okay.
That's a good question. I don't know if I know. Father Sebastian is a fangsmith. He's our fangsmith for Sabretooth. That is a question I would have to ask him. I don't know. I don't have. I don't know.
Please excuse
him.
There's
a way.
He was a troubled child.
I'm sure there's a way, and I'm sure there's somebody who's already made dentures who is like, you know what, just put some good polydent on there.
That's right.
Well, here's a good question. Question. Why are people attracted to the vampire culture?
Wow. I mean,
I see that my name is in that question.
Yes.
I wonder if I could. Yeah, that's you trying to pass it off to me. I don't know what you're talking. So the first answer is always going to fall back to Hollywood. Hollywood has created this mythos and this sex, like, to put it bluntly, this sexual image of vampires and their power and their beauty, and it's put this idea out there that, oh wow, vampires are forever beautiful and young. Bitch, please.
Yeah. What doesn't happen that way?
Look at Nick. I mean,
look at me.
It's an idea that it's that mysticism to I think almost everybody, whether it's about the beauty, the power, the forever youth. But all it boils down to is that connection to something mystical and something that gives the idea of one of those main things, one of those aspects that draws you in. And it can be individual to whoever, but yeah, it's all about the attraction that came from Hollywood. And then when you get into the culture, it's the people you meet, because you meet some amazing people at these events and in these communities who are not selfish, not
No.
all about them. They're giving back and trying to help other people realize and live who they truly are.
Mhm. Well, I got to tell you, when I first met Nick, it was our old paranormal team, and I don't know, it's been what 5-6 years or something now.
Yeah.
But when I was told that we had vampires joining our team, I'm like, what the f? What are you? You know, I mean,
Yeah.
it was like, and I think I even talked to you, Aaron, because Aaron was also in that team at the time, and we're like, you know, what are you, you know, bloodsuckers, all Hollywood, what you said, you know, but until we actually got to know you and realized that, like, wow, you're not devil worshippers, you don't sparkle, you don't, you know.
Tig May.
I'm pretty fabulous.
Yeah,
But
you are. I mean, to get back with what Tig was saying on Hollywood, Hollywood has put it out there as, you know, like it was said earlier, bloodsuckers, you know, biting people on the neck. That is what Hollywood portrayed, you know, to get out there to make things famous. I mean, you look at going back to what Tig was saying about the, you know, the sex and all, and the good looking and all that. You go back to Bela Lugosi, who's just the most famous vampire. I mean, you have Nosferatu in the early 1900s, and he was portrayed as, you know, a snaggletooth, you know, vampire. But you go to Bela Lugosi, and that is really when people are like, being a vampire is like, you're good looking, you never age,
elegant, refined.
I mean, you can have just about anybody you want. The mysticism you have, you can hypnotize. I mean, you have all these qualities, and everybody's just like, that's what I want.
Yeah.
That's what I want to have. But they fail to realize that's Hollywood.
Right.
Now, you can have some dapper guys out there and women, they know, that are drop dead gorgeous. But I mean, to actually want all that, you know, that's all Hollywood. And like Tig's saying, getting into when you start meeting different vampires, there's lawyers, doctors, I mean, physical therapists, you know, congressmen, you know, there's a hidden culture for them. Because if they were to get out that they were this, you know, they would be afraid they would ruin their reputation, all that.
Sure.
But I mean, you look at them, you know, when Tig and I went there, there was somebody you met and that was in a high profession. I want to say it was a lawyer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you would never guessed it until they said something. I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
And that was earlier on. So I mean, you can meet anybody and everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it is really a wide range.
Yeah. Well, Hilton Whittlewood asks, what's the difference between a vampire like yourselves and other people?
There could be a lot of differences. I mean, it's a lifestyle for us. You know, we're not going out in the middle of the night, you know, looking for our feed or anything like that. Where some people, you know, that's how they portray it. I mean, and I saw that, Tig.
I mean, feeding has different connotations.
There's different ways to feed,
so,
exactly.
You know,
energy feeding. You know, for me and Tig, we like our energy. We go walk into a place and we can tell the vibe, basically.
Yeah,
Okay.
we've made decisions on places in New Orleans that boiled down to, you ready to go? Versus walking into a place and being like, oh, yeah. No.
Yeah, well, this is the place, this is where we want to be.
Yeah. So I got a question about, and I get what you're saying. You know, Hollywood is, you know, it's the same way with cryptids, you know.
Correct.
Things like that, you know, a dog man that we believe is an actual animal, you know, turned into a werewolf in the movies. I get all that stuff. But the Hollywood, usually it's where most of that stuff has come from. So what led you into, you know, I assume you've seen all the movies and things like that. So what you see that movie, but that's not really what it is. How do you make the leap from here to here is what I'm asking. If that's all you had to go by was what was in the movies and the
correct
more Hollywood versions.
What led me going into it, and my wife Nikki, you know, we for myself though, it was Interview with a Vampire. Granted, that's Hollywood, blood drinking, all that. I get it. But the elegance and how the feel of that movie got me more interested than when I met Nikki. Everything changed because she opened up another world that I kept so far down in me that
Yeah.
So even though the Hollywood version is sensationalized and it's not, it still kind of sort of was the driving force of what got you started in that direction.
Correct. Yeah. That was the start of it and everything. And then Nikki just propelled me because it was actually her mother who found the ball down in New Orleans for us. And our first time going down there was 2017. It was just her and I. We didn't know anybody or anything like that. So we went down there, and the vibe down there was amazing. And after that, we spoke with Father Sebastian, and we spoke with others, and it's just all that there just grew within us, and we embraced it. Tig, when you were for your first time, how did you?
Well, similarly, I knew about the. I had seen Interview with a Vampire, but for me, what drew me in and had the culture, and was Lost Boys. So similarly, a Hollywood type thing, but I saw these guys that were just living life to the fullest, doing what they wanted.
I can agree with you on that one.
Being
I like that
amazing.
movie.
So that drew me into the idea, but then I started reading, like I said, the book, The Black Veils, as well as just vampire novels and things like that. And it was the elegance behind all of it. It was the refined, the idea of trying to be the best self I could be.
Correct.
And I've always been trying to find that. So that's what drew me farther into it, was trying to find ways to improve myself and my own perception of myself, that confidence in myself.
I got to put a comment up from your wife here, Nick.
I saw that.
At Nighthawk. I mean, I'm a vampire and fart glitter. I just don't sparkle.
That's yours. That's yours.
I'll claim her. She's mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a couple questions real quick.
Sure.
Jean asks, so when someone decides they are interested in the vampire culture, how would they start that journey, and where is the best place they start looking for information?
I'm going to hold that ball up for Nick to hit.
Thanks. Thanks, bro. Honestly, it's something that you've got to want to do. It's not just because somebody else is doing it or it looks so glamorous and everything. It's something you need to, that's a journey that you need to start within yourself. And whether it's read books on it, which aren't necessarily true, but the best way to do it is to meet up with people that are in the culture, because they're going to be the best ones for the knowledge. Because like I said, you can read books, you can watch movies, and one way or another, it's going to be fantasized. Talking to somebody that's within the culture that knows about it and can understand where you're coming from as what we call black swans and everything, that's the best one to do it. Like with Sabretooth, we have what we call black swans. On our Fang Day, when we get our fangs, we have a year and a day. We're a black swan. We're learning about ourselves, learning about people within the culture around us, more so. After that year and a day, then you feel so alive. That's all I can say. You feel alive because you find yourself, you have the power within yourself, basically to have the self-confidence to do what you want when you want it. Not saying that you go out and kill somebody thinking you're not gonna get caught and whatnot and have to suffer the consequences. But what I'm saying is you have that confidence within yourself to go out and talk to a group of people that you may never have talked to before.
Gotcha.
So it's a journey that starts within, but at the same time you've got to go out. You got to talk to somebody within that culture to get what you want.
And information wise, literally go search on social media things to try to find groups in your area, people that have formed groups that talk about this. Be aware there's some bad groups out there.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah,
but try to look up like groups to find people to talk to, as well as, I mean, Google's a thing. You can find groups in your area, people that practice in the area. You can find people who are just in the general realm of it, and
right.
books and so forth will give you knowledge, but interaction is always key.
Right. So Terry asks a question. Do you think it compares to witches and covens? I think the attraction would be mysterious and hype.
You know what? That would be a good question for my wife. Unfortunately,
Nikki, type Nikki. But
go ahead.
Yeah, as far as it goes, I think it's similar in some ways, because you do have the idea of vampire covens are halos, as we refer to them, that are groups and areas that people get together. And I don't disagree, Roberts. But you have a group of people in the same area, in the same region, or even just connected online, who you can interact with and talk to. So you can form similar type to covens. If you're referencing practicing and so forth, it can be similar, but that has a lot. But it has a lot of variation for each individual person. So similarly with covens, it's kind of your own individual journey. You just find like-minded people.
Yeah.
Right. So back on the blood, Midwest Night Watchers asks, do you have to have blood to survive now, or can you quit? So can you just reiterate that for the people who've tuned in late?
Yeah. We don't, Tig and I in our group, we're not sanguines. Those are the ones that do drink the blood. The sanguines are their own special group. I mean, they do their own thing, have their own donors that they check and everything else. We do not survive. We are what's considered energy vampires. We feed off the energy that's around us and within nature and our surroundings.
Wow, gotcha. Doug has a good question too. He said, is there a ceremony to become a vampire? Do you have special abilities?
I wish I had some special abilities, but
yet again, I'm fabulous. But
that's beside the point. I mean, to become a vampire, again, it's something that's within. To become part of like what Tig, my wife, and Iris, the four of us have become part of the Sabretooth clan. And there's something called the Fang Day. That's when fangs are made for us specifically, and that's like a birthday. It's a rebirth for us. As far as our Fang Day, that there is a ceremony, ritual, if you will, that goes on through our Fangsmith Father Sebastian. Now, with that in mind, again, for a year and a day, you're considered black swans within our group and everything. So black swans, you learn and you absorb as much knowledge as you can from fellow Sabretooths. And there's many around. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there are a lot of them around, whether it's here in the United States, even down south, and yeah, right.
South America, Mexico. South America, I got you. Okay.
And over in Europe, especially. But I mean, that there is just something that comes within to do so. But as far as special abilities, I mean, for myself, I'm an emotional empath. That's not, that's not considered an ability for vampires, but I feed off of energy. So, I mean, as far as flying, reading minds, or turning into a bat, no, nothing like that.
Oh, come on.
Tig may turn into a bat every once in a while, but
it's tough, and I don't like eating mice, but
yeah, I do.
So no like Ozzy Osbourne stuff going on.
No,
Nah.
nothing like that. No, I like my bloodbath.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe real quick. Well, Lori Barnes, she said, I missed the beginning, but what leads you to want to become a vampire? Which I know you guys already did answer that. If you just briefly again, please.
Yeah. What led me to want to be a vampire and the culture was the idea of wanting to find and make a better version of myself. That idea of connecting to the energy of the area around me as well as the people around me, and finding that community that lets me be who I want to be.
Yeah, I mean
Right.
that's about the same. It's just you can be yourself.
Right.
You're not portraying to be something that you're not, because I mean it's just like to do that, it's like why bother when you've got to put on a facade for somebody else just for them to like you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in the vampire culture, we can walk down the street or go into. I'll give you a prime example. Going down to New Orleans, go into our hookah shop, our hookah bar that we always go into. The manager knows us by name, and we're only down there once a year.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows us. He knows our group by name, and it's people like that that accept you for who you are and what you like to be.
Mm-hmm.
As far as getting into it, though, I mean, it's just something you've got something to find within yourself.
Gotcha.
Find your true self, and if this makes you happy, do it. You only live once, and we don't live. Even as vampires, we don't.
You don't live for eternity.
We don't live forever. So I mean,
You got another question from Daryl Denton. He asks, "Are you like the vampire myth where sunlight harms you?"
Nope.
All right. First off, I'm this pale. Yes, it harms me. I excel at night. Like this, I'm the pale version of the vampire. Whereas this, Nick,
myself, I'm tan pretty much all year round. Sorry, Tig.
Yeah, it's fine. I have the hair now.
I still love you though. So what do we have here?
No, I stood out in the sun many a times with Nick, and if he would have burned up, I'd have saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, Jean just made a comment. So the vampire is the way you chose to find your soul. Kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah.
It's one of the aspects of me. I have, and Nick knows this, I have multiple parts to my personality and to my connection to different communities. But as far as what I would consider my elegant, refined, cultured side, I found that through that part of my soul through vampire studies and appreciation. I've always been a bit of a liquor snob, though. So I haven't.
Yeah, really. That's something totally different.
Yeah,
that's different.
Yeah, I hear you.
Penny, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
I just read it. Like, you're dead on. That's what the draw is. It's being around positive people, intelligent, communicative people that are just make you feel better about being in that place.
So here's a good question. Anthony, I think, asked, and Nick, I know your background.
Yeah.
Anthony asked, so do you believe in Jesus Christ?
Yes. I mean, you've got good and evil. I mean, I was raised Roman Catholic, for God's sake. I mean, my background, my family was Italian and all, and I mean, I went to Catholic school, but something about the culture drew me into it. There's a lot of vampires and all that say, yeah, they believe in them and as well. But I mean, to me, there's got to be a balance of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, but yeah, I do believe, and I believe, that there's a Lucifer also. There's a good and an evil. You got to have a balance, just like in life. You've got to have a balance of it. So there is a way. You know,
Just
for
real
my-
quick, I know a lot of people out there know that, I do some of the more negative hauntings,
Mhm.
the demonic realm. And for those of you that don't know, Nick is actually one of our partners that
Yep.
goes with us. So and to do that, you absolutely have to believe in Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to believe, like I said, there's a good and there's a bad. There's a balance. You've got to have one or the other. I mean, that's my belief. You know, Tig,
Yeah.
I know you have difference on that. So I mean,
Yeah, I'm. I have gone through a lot of things in my life, so I will commit to the answer of I believe in a higher power,
there you go.
and that's how I'll go with that
Gotcha.
because it has different meanings for me.
Correct, and there's different meanings for everybody, and that's what makes, especially with the vampire culture, that's what makes our world go around. There's so many different varieties of people out there that stuff like that, religions, just they don't they mix. Nobody cares, that you're Catholic. Nobody cares if you're Lutheran. Nobody cares, it doesn't matter. We're all of us believe in one thing, and that's what it's about. For us to, to throw the balls that are being thrown, if that was in the mix, we'd have anarchy. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, you don't mix, religion with schools and all that, and politics. You don't mix them.
Yeah. Do you feel that you were vampires in past lives also? Chiro Sounds asked that.
Myself, no, I don't. Tig?
I'm not sure. I do. I have more than a few people who talk to me about ideas of past lives, and a few people who I've met both in the community and people I've talked about to the community who have said, "You were like this before," and I was like what?
Yeah.
Like this, like who you are here. I'm like, oh, really? Yeah. I feel like you've been around for a while. So maybe.
Wow. Okay. Fair enough. There's a question actually for Nikki, and you guys could probably answer for her. But what is that SOB word?
SOBs.
Yeah, whatever that says.
Hold on while I Google.
Nikki is very good at this stuff here. I mean,
yeah.
I asked her to come on.
I know she's doing this while in-laws are in.
I can still send her a link. So
I
Or she
mean,
can just come sit beside you anyway.
yeah, no kidding.
yeah.
Oh Lord.
I mean, that's not what I want to do. Let's see something.
It's a moniker.
Yeah,
it means a moniker.
It's basically another name for like nicknames. Nicknames,
Yeah,
like
it's a nickname.
like a yeah.
Someone
Yeah.
who earns the
Yeah.
title of a sobriquet.
Yeah. Okay.
like I said, Nikki's more. She knows that more stuff about that portion of it than I do.
Well, the
Little Miss Smarty
best reference would be a sobriquet is something similar to Father Sebastian.
It's a
Correct.
form of a nickname, Nikki says.
A way to do it. Yep.
She said it's a form of a nickname. So, yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, like what Nikki and there, I'll say right there. That's how Nikki puts their nicknames that we have for it. What we call our night side names, basically.
Yeah.
Mine is Midgard, which is from Norse mythology, which means earth.
Midgard, Indra, that's your sobriquet.
Okay. All right, but I mean that's mine is Midgard and all that. So I mean that means earth in Norse mythology. So
Okay.
I mean that's what we got picked and everything. So that's
Okay.
what we are. That's our
So do you pick your own names or does someone give them to you?
on our Fang Day. There's a book that Father Sebastian gave us, and he opened it up, and we just basically put our finger down, and whatever we felt, and we picked it. We closed our eyes, and that's how we picked our name.
Gotcha. Okay. David By asks, what your name in the clan, right, is what he said. So yes,
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's what. So are you guys called like a group, a clan? What would you consider your community?
Well, there's the Sabretooth clan
Correct.
that
Okay.
we're part of whenever we received our fangs from Father Sebastian. But the greater vampire community goes by different names, different connections in each city, in each different part, and each different version of it. I would say that if we were to say what we are here and where Nick and I are located, it would be the Gateway Halo, as
Okay.
we're a part of the Gateway Halo.
Right.
Correct.
Okay. We've got like about a minute before we have to take a 5-minute break. So let's pause because we have more questions for you guys. I'm just going to do our normal Friday night shout outs for everybody. And then when we come back after our 5-minute break, we'll get into more questions.
Okay.
So I just want to tell everybody Monday nights, tune into Texas Front Porch at 6:30 p.m. Central, and all these times will be Central Time. Tuesday evening is Van Buren Variety at 7 p.m. Tuesday evening is Beyond BMR at 8 p.m. Wednesday is Siru Papers at 8 p.m. Wednesday evening after Siru Papers is Jason McLean Questions Everything, and he's on at 9. Thursdays at noon, you have Brunch with Bigfoot Michigan Rob.
Less than 20 seconds.
Yep. Thursday evenings, you have Blondes and Booze at 8 p.m. And Friday night, you have Blondes, Booze, and the Woos at 8 p.m. So anyway,
Nobody
guys.
go anywhere.
Yep.
We'll
hang
be back
tight.
in 5 minutes.
In 5 minutes. We'll be right back.
Four minutes to go, folks. 4 minutes. Three minutes. We're almost there. 2-minute warning, guys. 2-minute warning. One minute. 1 minute.
Hey, everybody. We're back.
Hello, hello.
We are back. There's Erin.
There she is.
There she is. All right. We got another question for you guys. How far back in history does the vampire culture go? Gene asks.
I'm going to ask that with a question. Do you want to go in the culture itself, or per se the first vampire?
Do both.
First vampire can go back as far back as late 1500s. A
Was
gentleman
it like that from Transylvania? What's that dude's name?
Well, you talking
Vlad or whatever?
about Vlad Tepes?
Yeah.
It was even before
Vlad the Impaler.
Vlad the
Yes.
Impaler. This one here was actually in Croatia. Well, it's now Croatia now. There's a gentleman who was named Strogai which is like a vampire, and he's considered to be like the first vampire and of known history. But like I said, that was back in like I want to say 1570, 1508 or 1560, right around there. As far as the culture goes back, I couldn't even honestly. It's been a while. I don't even know how far back the culture, Tig. On the culture itself, it goes.
Well, it sort of comes. Some part of it comes from how far do you want the mythos to go back? Because if you actually go, you can find stories of these human blood drinking monsters that have existed since ancient China. I know there's stories from there that they've had something that you could attribute to vampires way back then. As far as the idea of current Western vampire culture comes from, it's probably the one that Nick was referencing.
Correct.
But you can definitely reach back into deep recesses of history and find references.
Yeah.
Like the New Jersey Devil, I'll use that as an example around here. It's a mythos idea, but there's stories and it has some foundation somewhere. It isn't just stories people made up to, scare someone. There has to be something that it came from.
Well, D.A. Roberts asked, would you say we have a plethora of vampires?
Yet again, define vampire.
Yeah.
But if you're talking similar to like Nick and I and that community, both yes, more than you think, and at the same time, not as many as, you could kick a rock and hit one. So, yes, I believe there is more than what people think. That'd be my simple answer for that.
Right.
I could agree with that. I mean, like I said, it could be your doctor, your pharmacist. They could be one, and then it's not accepted in in the higher statutes, for work and all that. People don't think that. So I mean, we're around. It's just who wants to per se come out.
Right.
So I mean, we're around.
Pat Murphy asked, when you get your fangs, what do you do with them?
These here are the fangs that we have are specially made fangs for our teeth. They can come in and out, and we can pop them in, pop them out. But these here are specially made fangs by Father Sebastian, which is our fangsmith.
Yep, they're literal dental prosthetics that you can wear. Like if you affix them with polydent or something like that, like a la dentures, you could probably eat with them. It's not encouraged because they are made to a point, so you don't want to break those points off. Therefore, don't mess up your fangs.
Yeah.
Right.
As we were told, you can drink with them, smoke with them,
other things with
them. However you want to do it. I mean,
PG-13.
What was that?
PG-13. That's why we just say.
Yes, that's what I'm just trying to. There's other things you can do with them, but eating is not one of them. That's one thing that's really discouraged.
Yep.
Well,
you can break them.
Yeah.
I know a couple years ago when Aaron and I just started doing this Blondes and Booze thing, and we weren't on, any YouTube or anything like that. We had you guys on. We had you and Nikki on.
Mm-hmm.
And I know maybe you can go back and reiterate, like you said, it's about going back to the old ways where like men opening car doors. And can you kind of talk a little bit about some of that kind of stuff?
Yeah. I mean, you look at it, and I'm not saying, anything negative by all means. It's just bringing back the gentlemen. Older gentlemen, as that are older than Tig and I, they're set. Those are their ways too. But you get into our generation, my generation, Tig's generation, and the generation now, and everything. Opening a door for a lady, or even for somebody else, an elderly folk, or helping somebody, that has been lost in our society. Bashing, other groups for their sexuality and all that. That doesn't, that's not what we're about. We are all in favor and support of, of all the communities. But, it doesn't matter what gender you are. It doesn't matter what, sexuality you are, religion. It does. I mean, we're trying to bring all the gentlemen back to society, little by little. Like I said, our society now just sucks.
Yeah, it's about trying to bring a level of personal class to it.
Yes.
Right.
That's the easiest way to define it with as few words as possible. Is it's about bringing class and elegance to yourself and how you carry yourself and the actions that you put out to everyone else.
I mean, you
how
know,
you
you look
interact
at
in
the
the community.
Yeah.
Right.
You look at the movies. I mean, as far-fetched as some of them are, drinking blood and all that, look how elegant they dressed. You look at their self-esteem, where they were prior, and then when they found themselves, per se, you see where their self-esteem, their self-confidence and all that is. That's what we're about, just bringing that back to, I guess you can say chivalry also.
Gotcha.
Back, the Victorian era, doors being open for women, people helping everybody as much as, the upper class and all that. In today's day and age, it's almost like a lost art.
Right.
It is.
Right.
I mean, I try to teach my my two sons.
Yeah.
You know, especially with my oldest, with them having girlfriends and all this, like, you don't treat them any different than you would treat your mother.
Right.
You don't disrespect them. Don't hit them. Open the door. Be courteous. You know, be a gentleman about it.
Right.
You know, and I
Yeah.
tell my daughters, you don't let anybody walk all over you either, though.
Right. Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
if somebody's not treating the way you should be treated, then they're not worth your time.
Right. Right. So
You
Terry asks, what do family members think, or is it better left unsaid? Do you just not mention it, or would they flip out?
Well, Tig, you want to start that one, or you want me to?
I can start it.
I'll let you start, and I'll finish it.
I've talked with my family about a lot of my beliefs and everything. And not all of them are as accepted, but the idea that I impart to them is that this, especially the vampire side, is about helping other people as well as yourself. It's about building that energy and that community so that no matter who I meet, they feel happy to be there. It's about bringing that positive energy, that positive vibe, that feeling good about who you are to make their lives happier and better,
Right.
to help them when they need something. So in that regard, they fully understand it and support it. It's something that if I explain it correctly to them,
Yeah.
they are very supportive of the goal that I have as being in this community.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Follow that up. Nick.
Yeah.
Tough act to beat there, but my family, when I first came out and talked about it with them, it was with my wife Nikki and all that. They didn't really say anything, negative or anything about it. They're supportive of it. My parents, that's what our Christmas gifts are. They buy us tickets for the ball in New Orleans.
Wow.
So they support us. I mean, we're not out there boozing it up, drinking and doing drugs, causing havoc and all that and getting in mischief and trouble. We both have full-time jobs. We raise our kids the best that we can and all that. There's nothing. My parents are just like, as long as you're happy, we're happy.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Dad, my father, he makes fun of us, when we go on our paranormal hunts and all that. And he goes, "What, are you going to go ghost hunting again?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, tell him I said hi," stuff like that. So, I mean,
Right.
they're supportive on all that stuff, even for being as Catholic, as I was raised and they were raised.
Right.
They're very supportive. And Nikki's parents are the same way. They're very supportive on all this. They honestly think that it's fascinating in the culture that we're in. Because it's totally opposite of what they grew up in and with. So, it's all good.
Okay. So I got to ask this question. We're going to go down a rabbit hole here. And the guy that asked this question, he is a friend of ours.
That's fine.
So I'm going to throw it up there. There you go. So is your sex life better being a vampire?
PG-13.
Yes.
Yeah. That's why I'm looking away
yes.
for a minute so I can formulate a PG-13 answer.
Just say yes.
It made it interesting. There we
Yes.
go.
It's very interesting and relaxing.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's things that you can. There's those other things that you can do with those teeth.
Yeah.
Right.
When it's an adult show, then we can it's something different. But yes, it is. We'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Blondes and booze after dark.
It's right.
Yeah. There you go.
Patreon.
There you go.
So you guys have another question from Daryl. He says, do you all wear a type of insignia that represents your vampire affiliation?
Actually, yes. We both are wearing them right now.
Yeah, we're wearing it right now. I'll do the thing so neither of us have to actually,
Yeah.
Okay.
These here are our eternal onks that are given to us. that we get from with being a part of the Sabretooth clan. Those there are a symbolism of the Sabretooth itself. I've got this one here. Nikki has one also. Nikki and I also have them tattooed on our arms.
Hmm.
It is something that we believe in,
Right.
eternal life, and we know in reality that doesn't happen. But your soul
Right.
has eternal life, no matter no matter what the physical body is. Your soul is always going to be out there.
Gotcha.
Whether it's in this body, whether it's in a butterfly or wherever, it's going to be out there.
Right.
So that's what this represents. We have stones on here, Mars for Nikki and I. They're purple. That means we've been Sabretooths for 5 years, and we're considered elders within the Sabretooth clan.
Okay.
There's one more stone after that. That is it's a black one, and that one there is like when you've been with the clan for 20 years. And the Sabretooths have been around since, if I'm not mistaken, since 1989. So Father Sebastian brought Sabretooth to the forefront. He made his first fangs for his mother. So
Wow.
that's how supportive his mother was of him and his family.
Yeah.
For that that happened, that was all. It's pretty cool.
Right. Right.
So, Tig, for yours is the red, if I'm not mistaken, the ruby.
Yeah. The ruby.
That is the ruby one is one for a year and a day.
Oh.
Yep,
So
I'm at
you're at 3 years from 4
years
years
now.
You're
Yeah.
at 4 years now.
So how
I
many
think-
years are you and Nikki, Nick?
We're 5. We just our 5th year was just past October.
Yeah, I'm at
Okay.
4.
Yeah. And so
Okay.
next year, Tig and Iris will be able to get their purple, and they will be considered elders.
Okay.
And it's a
So-
representation just within the clan of what if you want to say a status, it's similar to a status.
Yeah,
But-
you've been there long enough.
Been
you've met
with the
people,
group
you
long enough
participated
to know
for
what's
that
going
long.
on.
Yeah. Okay. Aaron or Brandy, I've been like talking the whole time. Robbie, you guys have any questions? I've been
Robbie's
reading
just back there
comments.
chilling and absorbing.
He's just having a good time.
Yeah, he is.
I'm learning. I'm the crazy Bigfoot dogman guy. I'm the one who goes out and looks for that stuff. So this
Nothing
is
matter
all
with that.
outside of my
that.
wheelhouse.
Well, let me ask you a question, Robbie. With you being a police officer, have you ever run into like anybody who like said they were vampires or anything, any crazy stories?
Not
around?
anybody that wasn't high on meth or
Yeah. Gotcha.
Nobody that was sober.
Gotcha. Okay.
I mean, I've ran into people who said some pretty crazy things. I mean, so it probably
sure.
wouldn't faze me.
Yeah.
Sure
Yeah,
you are.
and
You're still going to jail.
it's super hard. It's super hard for I know Aaron and myself to ask questions. Well, we've known Nick for I mean, all the questions we have been exhausted.
Yeah.
It's
I've been
kind of
asked
like
questions.
what do people really want to know? Yeah, I've already asked all those questions. Just to reiterate, Nick is my paranormal family also.
Mhm.
He's considered my family.
Mhm.
So it's just kind of like, this is normal. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not a big deal. It's just kind of like, that's,
And
but it's just,
yeah, it's true because honestly, like a lot of the questions that's been asked, and when I first met you and Nick, I asked the same questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know. I wanted to understand better because you hear vampire, you think occult, you think bloodsuckers, you think
yeah.
drugs, that
Well,
kind of stuff. And I
right.
know I can attest. I know you as a person, and I know you don't do drugs. You don't.
Yeah.
It's not the Hollywood.
No, not by any means. I mean, you do have. Don't get me wrong. There are vampires out there that, portray the Hollywood myth, myth and all that. They are out there. There's vampires out there that are Satanists. I mean,
Yeah.
there's vampires, that are.
You don't have to be a vampire to do that.
I'm sorry.
I said, you don't have to be a vampire to be a Satanist.
Yeah, but I mean, everybody's out there.
Yeah.
So for us, when I came out per se, as what I enjoy doing, what the culture is, I had no problem, especially when I had, with Nikki by my side at the time. I had more confidence in everything. So now I'm just like, to me, you like me for who I am, or you don't. You know,
Right. Yeah, that's true.
this
Well,
is me,
but
and if you don't like it, then by all means.
well,
Right.
by the time I met Tig, I'd already asked you all the questions, so he got spared. He
Right.
didn't have to listen to all of
Yeah,
that.
you didn't have to worry about it, Tig.
And it's also, you don't want to hear it from me if I'm just standing around hanging out with you. I'll talk for a while.
Yeah,
I'll
he'll hit the scientific side of it
tell
too.
me to shut up.
Wow.
Yeah, like I said, it's just very hard for us to ask the questions that we've already asked.
Well, Lori Barnes asked, have any of you been attacked by someone who didn't understand?
Me personally, I have not been, no. And not that I know of Nikki has either.
Yeah.
I have not been attacked. I have been questioned by someone who didn't understand, but they came at it from a similar idea of assuming things about it and about what I did and so forth. So after explaining it to them, they weren't, but physically attacked, no. I have never had that. Now, has there been people who are egotistical within the community who have disagreements, we'll keep it PG, about what this lifestyle is and how they use it compared to others. Those have caused some people to get angry with each other.
Correct.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. You got another question. How many members are in your chapter?
Well, that's an interesting question.
Within the Gateway Halo, there are only a few of us at the moment because we are reworking and rebuilding the Halo. As far as people who we know are interested and as people that are have expressed wanting to be involved, there's probably a dozen or 2 dozen that I've talked to that are intrigued by it. But the overall, the other clans around the world, there's other people who view different aspects of it or lead different aspects of the vampire community around the world. There's also saber-tooths around the world, like Europe, South America, probably Africa. I don't know where all Father Sebastian has been, but
I know
thousands.
Yeah, he's been around over in Europe. I mean, France and let's see,
Belgium,
and
Amsterdam,
South America,
Germany,
here. So now there's chapters. I mean, Sabretooth is Sabretooth. There are, if you want to call them chapters, but we're considered halos. As far as halos, there is one in there was one in New York, which was started the whole ordeal back in the late 80s and early 90s. They had the New York Halo. There is the Crescent Halo down in New Orleans. They also have a Halo in LA. There's Tampa. I'm trying to think of. They had one in Dallas. That one there has since been disbanded and is no longer. There's one in Salem, Massachusetts as well.
London
has one as well.
Berlin, I say with a question mark.
What's that?
Is there one in Berlin? Or
was
Paris?
The start of one. Yes. I haven't heard much about it though. I know there's one in the Father Sebastian, Paris, New York, Florida. It's from Penny. Paris, New York, Florida, New Orleans, and LA, making fangs. And
I thought it was Paris. I couldn't remember if it was Paris or Berlin.
No, it's Paris. Paris is home away from home, if you will. That's his home. But I mean, for us, they're all over. I mean, we have the Gateway Halos starting up here in St. Louis. That is something that Tig, Iris, myself, and Nikki and Adam are
And Adam.
the 5 of us are starting another chapter, if you will, or Halo here in St. Louis, trying to rebuild what was lost from an earlier Halo.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and Father Sebastian, he's limited on making fangs. He still does them, just not as much, and he hosts events through Endless Nights. So Penny's correct.
Okay. I'm looking here to see.
So is Father Sebastian kind of backing off from making fangs now? Is somebody else going to step in and make them now, or?
There's a fang smith in Salem that will be making fangs. With Father Sebastian, he's just trying to get back and enjoy life a little bit, because when he's at the events, the balls, he can be there a week and he can have up to 8-10 hours a day for making fangs.
Yeah.
And he wants to basically enjoy the ball more so than work. But there are other fangsmiths out there, yes.
Yeah, you can still try to get appointments directly with Father Sebastian through his website and so forth, but he has definitely backed off so that he can enjoy everything, because he used to be doing it. He used to be doing it a lot, and I think he's just trying to enjoy his community now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, with Father Sebastian, he has been around doing fangs since '89. So, I mean, you figure 30, 40 years of it or so, you know.
I mean, I was just getting ready to say 1989 doesn't sound that far away from
No,
me.
it doesn't. But when you put it in years.
But when you put it in years, yes, it does. Yes, it does.
It does, but you know, it's all good.
Yeah, gotcha. Wow.
So,
Yeah.
what else do you do? I mean, I know you go to the ball every year, but are there any other events or anything that you attend, or anything like that you do during the year before or after the ball?
Basically, I mean, this is what part of Gateway Halo is about, is getting like-minded people together, and we will be starting to have what we call moods, and it's a place where we all will be putting on we have a Facebook page called Gateway Halo Vampire Crew, and that's where we'll be posting, where we will be meeting up at.
Is that page live now?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
I'm sure Nikki can.
Well, I was going to go to it here on Facebook and post it in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What is it called?
Gateway Halo Vampire Crew. And crew, vampire spelled with a Y, not an I. And then crew is KREWE.
Yep.
Okay, I can.
So that's where we'll be posting a lot of our events here in St. Louis, and for Haunted Souls and stuff like that. To whereas it's an extra avenue for people to come together. And there's places where we've gone in the past that we could just sit and drink, have appetizers, and talk.
Yep.
You know?
And it's not specifically focused on the idea of vampire.
Nope.
It has more to do with, if you are a person who's interested in, for lack of a less used umbrella term, alt.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're into paranormal, the occult, goth, emo, metal, you name any of that range of that side of the culture, even if you're not, but you're curious about some of the things, we invite you to come and just talk, because you will find like-minded people who are interested in horror and, you know, special effects, things like that. You'll find that's something we go to every chance we can get. We try to go to what the heck is that? Halloween special effects.
Oh, you're talking about the Halloween show that we have here in St. Louis?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's at the America Center.
Nikki's sitting there typing it as fast as she can, and I can't remember this stupid thing.
I know what you're talking about. I can't either.
But
We've got tickets.
But if you're interested in stuff like that, it basically has all the, like, you have the big outdoor animatronics and all the things you find in haunted houses and stuff. That's something that we've gone to for the last few years, and it's a blast. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, come on out. We usually try to get stuff like that together too.
Yeah, we tried to, we want to bring the community together, rather sit and talk, and shoot the crap and all that, and have fun, than be out there bashing him, them, or whatever, just because we're different. That's like, I see Daryl, whatever,
Yeah.
Vampire Courts.
That's so at least within Sabretooth
Correct.
and us, our own stances on it is courts are
I consider them hierarchies, if you will.
yeah, basically it starts to offer the idea of kings and queens and princesses and lords and dukes and so forth. It literally starts building a hierarchy where you have to show reverence to someone that's in a higher position than you are.
Correct.
And people can be moved, they can be removed from courts and treated in a hierarchical sense. So some vampire groups use the idea of courts to help define their version of elders, and because I don't want to bash all of them. There are some that run their courts very well, and it's part of the role play almost of being in this community. But there are ones who 100% take it to, well, I'm your king. You have to do what I say.
Yeah.
And that's where some of that can get really uncomfortable. But some of the places don't use the idea of halos. They use the idea of courts to describe what their group is.
Yeah. And for us, we're a halo. We're all one. We're all one. We come together.
Right.
We don't consider anybody higher than it.
Who put stuff together, but if we had people in the group or in the Halo that wanted to put, well, hey, I thought about trying to get everyone together to go see this horror movie. You're the organizer for that. Get it together. Do the thing, because there isn't the idea of that I'm higher than you.
I'm better than you because of my position. There's none of that with us.
And referencing back to the idea of the elders and the different stones that you get, the stone isn't meant to represent that you're better. It's meant to represent, oh, I can go talk to you because you've been around long enough that I should be able to get something from you to help me on my journey. We're supposed to be there to help each other.
Correct.
Right. Gotcha. Real quick, Be Kind is asking Erin. She's been trying to connect with you on Facebook to see if she can schedule a reading to continue her reading from last week, probably. So Be Kind, you can email blondesandbooze@gmail.com, and then we can connect you, that way through Blondes and Booze.
if that's a way. I'll check my Facebook also, just to make sure that I'm not finding, like, there's not something hidden, because sometimes how Facebook can be.
Yep.
I'll go in there and double check and make sure. So just make sure you go to also my psychic medium Erin Eck page as well. But we'll make sure we get you connected. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then Nikki, I know you're listening. If you would type in exactly what your Facebook group is, and people can look at it that way, and they can find you on Facebook that way as well. If you would do that, I've posted the links a couple times, but if you could post in there exactly what it's called again and all that good stuff in the comments, that would be appreciated. So anyway, wow. So I know one more question from me. Sure. When I had first talked to you about this, you had said like everyone in your group, your crew, brings something to the table.
Yes.
So
we do.
So what does each one of you bring, like, to make it a whole crew, if that makes sense?
No, it does. There's certain things that, like with Nikki and I, we bring a paranormal side to the group. Iris, Adam, and Tig are always intrigued and all that to know what's going on, how we do, how an event went or how a hunt went. You know, because we do private, you know, for the paranormal side with HSS, Haunted Soul Society, we also do private and public events with that. So we bring a paranormal aspect to the group. Tig and Iris and Adam, they bring another side. They bring, I want to say, to keep it PG-13, the kink side to the group.
Gotcha.
You know, and that's about as far as I'll go with that. PG-13.
Yeah,
Tig,
yes,
you
that's right.
want to elaborate? You might be able to elaborate a little bit better on a PG-13 level.
Yeah.
Yes,
Because it'll
that would-
require
that would-
someone
thank
to
you.
do independent research.
Yeah.
I currently hold a title in a LGBT. I don't want to go too into because I want someone to research, but I am. Just go ahead and say it. I'm Mr. Missouri Leather. So I bring in the LGBT as well as the kink side because I have affiliations with multiple different groups. Iris actually brings in the idea of production and showmanship as far as that goes, because she used to be a fire performer and a burlesque act and produced several shows. So she has those kind of connections. And if we get our stuff together in the future, we may put on a production here in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
And she would be kind of bringing a lot of that to the table. And Adam, while he's newer to the community, he has a wonderful mind for it, and his own learning is an aspect that I'm looking forward to having him as part of the Halo organization, because he helps people feel more comfortable of like, hey, I'm still trying to figure this out. I need to know. And it's like, yeah, I am too. Let's go and talk about X, Y, or Z. And he's very sociable, very polite guy. So he definitely makes you feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
so I mean, with the five of us together, we bring
By
all
our
of that
powers
aspect.
combined.
What's that?
By our powers combined.
Combined, yeah. With all this being combined, it's just something that vibrates out from us, and we want to be able to help the community understand the vampire culture, you know, and not think of it as all Hollywood. We want to be able to bring the vampire culture and everything together, so we can all, like I said, you live once.
Right.
Why you want to waste it on doing stupid stuff and just have some fun?
Yeah.
Right.
Worrying about everyday life.
Yeah.
Worry about your nightlife.
Yeah. Well,
So you guys don't like, sleeping in coffins or nothing really?
I wish.
Well, me too. I do wish. So does Nikki. We've been looking.
Yeah.
Really?
You can find some comfortable things.
They are. I've laid in a few of them. And they're ones I've laid in quite comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. All right. Does anybody else have any more questions out there for these guys? If not, we're at the hour and a half mark.
I have, I've been looking, I haven't seen anything. Daryl asked, this is
Yeah.
funny because I already know the answer. Do you have a special vampires holiday?
For us, every day is a vampire's holiday for us. I mean, it's the culture. It's something that we live and breathe. But if you want to pinpoint a holiday, it's all of October. I mean, it's not necessarily Halloween, All Hallows Eve, and all that. It's the whole month of October.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just that month there brings so much power and energy that, that's ours. But for us, every day is a holiday. We enjoy our lives. We do what we can to go ahead and get to bring things together amongst ourselves and families, friends, and everything else.
Right.
Yeah, mine would be very similar. My answer is very similar to, it's not real, like every day can be a holiday. You can find a way to celebrate anything. Yep. But for me, it's the month of October, from literally the 1st when it hits midnight until, for me, Dia de los Muertos, because I have that feeling of that connection to my past, connection to my family, to those that have gone before. And that doesn't have to be blood family. It can be people who are no longer here, who meant that chosen family to me. And getting that time to feel their spirit around me is part of that energy that drives my life. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
That one too. And as you could possibly tell, because I got a little bit into it there, St. Patrick's Day also holds a very dear place in my heart. So.
Yeah.
My little leprechaun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just had to show that. I'm like, he
Typical
just
age
really
for
said that. I was like, oh, hey, God, let me just turn around because it's
Yeah.
close to me.
Right there.
You can't go around in my house not finding stuff like that.
Yeah,
Oh
no.
yeah, I have sugar skulls literally everywhere. Oh,
As does Nikki. I know, and so I know that feeling.
I can't let you see the pants or lack thereof.
Uh-oh.
That is my Oracle deck.
Gotcha.
Oh, my
So
goodness.
this is one of my first decks, and one of the ones that I've done most of my readings to people on, and it I need to stop making people cry.
Yeah.
But
Tears of
We
happiness.
tell that to Aaron all the time, but it just doesn't work.
yeah,
Yeah.
the typical age for members, because I spotted that from Pat.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, I
the
mean-
simplest answer. If you feel like this would be a group to come and hang out and talk, it's for you. I don't care if you're. Well, I mean, I care enough to be legal with bars and whatnot wherever we hang out. But if you are an adult to 1,000, we're vampires, whatever. It's for you. It's the whole premise is as long as you're a person who comes with an open mind and a caring heart, like you want to help people, you want to like be around people and support them, no matter who they are. We don't want judgmental PG-13 people coming in and taking away that energy that we're trying to provide. We want people to feel welcome as they are. So that's our biggest thing. It does not matter your age.
Yeah, I don't.
And if you're shy or not, I'll come pick you off the wall, you little flower.
Yeah.
Right.
The whole premise is to make you feel comfortable. And if you want to be a wallflower, that's fine. I'll go grab you a soda or a drink or whatever, and I will come over and say hi again. If you just want to people watch, that's fine too.
Right. Well, you find that a lot. People who just don't understand anything that is not the mainstream.
Correct.
So, we all here
Yeah.
fully understand exactly what you're saying. If it's not the normal everyday conversation that normal people have in their households, well, then it's all taboo, and then you'll
it's
get
like-
those.
I embrace the taboo.
in an aspect, we don't want it to be like, like a Leave It to Beaver family.
Right.
Mom
Right.
stays home, dad goes to work, kids go to school, everything's hunky dory. World's not like that.
Nope.
So we don't want to put that facade on as saying, "No, don't worry about it, you'll be all right."
Come as you are.
Come as you are. It's not like with the kids, everybody gets a trophy nowadays.
Gotcha.
No.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, so
we want
anyway,
you,
Nick,
everybody to come as you are and feel welcomed, and have fun with us.
can't ask for more than that. Really, you can't.
Right.
No.
So why don't you tell us what's going on tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night, Haunted Soul Society is going to be at Ray County Museum in Richmond, Virginia.
Virginia.
In Missouri,
We're not going to
not
Virginia.
Virginia.
Damn,
Missouri.
you guys are going far now.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's like, wait a minute.
My
I
language,
forgot to tell you, Brandy.
these are really running out.
He forgot to tell me.
No, it's in Richmond, Virginia. Did it again, Missouri, but it's Ray County Museum. We're doing our ghost hunt there. There's still some tickets available, so if anybody wants to get some tickets, You can go to our website, www.thehauntedsoulsociety.com, and there's a link there that you can go grab tickets for. But we're doing a ghost hunt there from 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. Myself, my lovely wife Nikki will be there. Brandy will be there, and we'll have Kathy there as well. So, four of
I
us.
won't be.
Unfortunately, Krista won't be, but she has good reason.
Grandson's birthday party.
You got grandson, so birthday party, that's more important. I agree.
Yeah,
Family
well,
comes
I don't know. I'd almost rather be there and face ghosts because we're doing a paintball.
Oh, no.
You're more than welcome.
Oh, yeah.
You can come on out.
That could be very painful.
Tomorrow. What's that?
I said
I'll
that
go.
could be very painful.
That's what I've heard. So
It can be,
way
depends
up.
on where you're heading and how close they are.
Yeah.
I'll
So
go.
if you are near Kansas City or Richmond, Missouri, or anything like that, you can get your tickets at thehauntedsoulsociety.com, correct?
Yep. And there's a link in there that you can go to. And who knows? I mean, tomorrow night, with it being close to Christmas, it could be a good early Christmas gift for somebody that's into all this.
Yeah.
And then if you're just interested, you can go to Haunted Soul Society on Facebook and join their page.
Yep.
They also have links there to get tickets.
Yep. You have links there. So, but
do you have I know the dates are out, and we can just announce the dates. Do you don't have the tickets up yet for like Malvern and stuff?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Well, we have Haunted Souls also has I got to look on my calendar here, but
April 29th and 30th is Malvern Manor.
Yep. And that's up in Malvern, Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Hurd actually is one of the owners of Malvern Manor, and we will have him on here a week from tonight. He's coming on with us. So, and then also in June, I believe. June what? For McIntyre.
McIntyre is going to be June 3rd and 4th.
And that is over in Atchison, Kansas. And that's a cool place.
Yeah. They are both very great. They're great places to hunt at and everything. Every once in a while, Vampiric side of it, Nikki and I will come out. And while we're there and everything, and people ask us questions about it, that's one way that we entice people, basically, to ask us questions. We'll wear our fangs and whatnot. And it's just a good way to get the word out there about everything that we do and what we're about.
Yeah, exactly.
Nikki said I should have left yesterday for Virginia.
I know you should have. So should we.
Right. And also, I'll throw this out there too. Tickets are not on sale because we're not even like in the stages of it, but we are doing another Fall into the Supernatural this year.
Mm-hmm.
Next year,
2023, September of 2023.
Yep.
And DA Roberts has agreed once again to come back and speak for us. So I know a lot of you guys on here know DA, so that'll be fun too. So
that'll be a good one.
Yeah, and Aaron has agreed to do some gallery readings. So
very good, very good.
Yeah. So it'll
no
be
making people cry.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so for that event, there will be some UFO, some cryptid, and some ghost stuff. So anyway, but more to follow on all that good stuff. So we appreciate everybody tuning in tonight.
Definitely.
Thank you guys very much for everything, for there's a lot of the same people out here show after show after show, and we see that, and we know that, and we definitely appreciate each and every one of you. So Tig, Nick,
yes,
we appreciate you guys coming on. Robbie,
you're most welcome.
Appreciate you coming on, and
no problem.
I was like, hopefully you're not sleeping.
No.
Like
I said, this is just
froze, because now all we get is him just sitting back there, just enjoying what.
I think he's froze.
Yep. Froze.
Okay. I was like,
yeah, he's like, yeah,
you're kind of sleeping. I was like, oh boy.
Right.
He's a ventriloquist, and we didn't know.
Yes.
Right.
So anyway, but we will see everybody back here next Thursday night. Who's our guest? I don't remember.
Haunted Souls, actually.
Oh yeah, a different Haunted Souls
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
team is a guest. So yeah, and
Yeah,
they
there's
will
Haunted
be
Souls
here.
and there's Haunted Soul Society, which is us.
Yes, and they'll be here next Thursday, and then, like I said, Friday is Josh Hurd with Malvern Manor. So
Very
it'd be
good.
fun. We
Big
appreciate
week.
everybody, and thanks for tuning in. And
Thanks
we
for all the
will,
questions.
Yes.
yeah, we will catch you guys all on the next one.
Sounds
Goodbye.
See you
good.
next Thursday.
See y'all later.